Alright.
Hello?
Hello?
I didn't even notice I had my mic muted. Hello everybody and welcome to UDL F1 League Singapore GP round 16 of this Drivers' Championship. I'm Mr. Damage as well, and I also have with me Jonathan. How is Jonathan today?
I am doing great. Thank you for asking.
Today this is going to be an interesting race, that's for sure, here in Singapore under the lights. We all know how hard this track can be, and it's nice and tight. We've got a full grid of drivers here today, so this is going to be a very fun race to watch, I think.
Yeah, the difference between these last 2 weeks in track is incredible. We go from the fastest track on the calendar last week being Monza to arguably one of the slowest on the calendar and the longest.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a nice long race. 31 laps for this event here.
The season.
This is going to be a nice long one here. This is really going to take its toll on these drivers. As per my usual ways now, whoever crosses the line first, I will follow them on their hot lap and commentate over it. And it looks like that will be hefty back.
Quite a few drivers out already.
And on this track, with some of the testing that I've done for qualifying, at this track, you can, if you go onto the track as soon as it starts, you can get 3 laps in by the end of the session, but it is very, very tight. You run out of time on your final flying lap if you make it there.
This is a very large track for sure.
And it's definitely one of the hardest, that's for sure. This track is so easy to mess up any one of these corners. It's a really rhythm-heavy track, even though it's so tight and twisty. Especially this final sector, it's all about rhythm. Right here where Hefty Bag is going, these chicanes are absolute nightmare if you don't get it right.
Yes. Yes, they are.
And as he comes around the final chicane now to start gearing up for his hot lap, gonna ride with Hefty Bag as he comes flying around that final corner. You have to take so much commitment through there. Opens up his DRS going into turn 1. This 1-2-3 complex is very hard to get right as this Hefty goes a little bit wide there at the apex of turn 1. Exits nice and smooth there. You don't want to touch that curb. That curb will slow you down. So you either want to go around the outside of it or miss it completely. And he takes a nice direct line to the apex through that turn 4, that flying right-hander down through the kink of turn 5 up to turn 6. One of the hardest braking zones to get right. It's so short. 4th gear through there, then shifting down into 2nd for this hairpin. And then back up through the gears once again up to 5th and downshifting down to 4th for turn in. And Hefty Bag clobbers the wall there and loses an end plate. So that's not going to be good for his qualifying session. He's going to have to come in after the end of this lap and get himself another front wing. So that means I'm just going to jump on back to another driver. See, now we're watching Sniper Pig now coming towards this very tough complex. This left-hander, he gets it correct. And then down towards the hairpin complex where the Singapore Sling used to be left into this right to this third gear right-hander, flat on through here underneath the bridge, and then really hard braking up to that hairpin, and then flying on up out of that corner, up through the gears, up to sixth gear, and banging on the limiter before it's shifting it right back down into third gear for this next right-hander. You can take second there, but it's just a tad slower. Now we come to one of the first chicanes at the end of the lap. This is the hardest one in my opinion. Getting the apex right and the exit is very hard. Underneath the bridge, it's very easy to hit that inside wall. It seems like Sniper Pig got it perfectly. Drew Yu comes across the line to set the first lap time of the session, but I'm really looking forward to get beaten here by Sniper Pig as Space Hero sets a new fastest lap time. And now here comes Sniper Pig around the final corner, and he goes a 136.179. So he puts himself up into that provisional pole for now. Breezy comes across the line, and he will be P2 for Williams. See if I can catch anybody else at the end of their lap here. It looks like Bossman is just now coming around to start his first flying lap. Lucas just started his. Dossack coming through the final few chicanes now in his nice scarlet red Ferrari. Up towards the final corner. Such a hard corner to get right. You really have to just drive it in and hope for the best. He comes across the line and he goes P4, the 138.4. We might see the biggest differential in times in qualifying here in this session.
What a track. I'm learning here as we go, not being the biggest follower of F1, and wow, it's quite a complex.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the hardest tracks on the calendar, if not the hardest. As Dahl comes across the line and sets a 137.8. Miami comes across the line and right behind him sets a 138.5. See if I can catch anybody else coming up towards this final corner. It looks like the McLaren of Get That Money and Runs coming through this final chicane now. There's a Red Bull behind him. I'm not quite sure if that Red Bull is going to finish this lap or not. Let's see what Get That Money and Run can do. He seems like he's on pretty decent pace here as he brings it into the pit lane. So it looks like he must have invalidated his lap at some point. Let's Get That Money and Run.
Oh my God.
He crashes out at the end of the pit lane. So he hits the pit lane wall, and out he goes. And there's his car, stricken car on the right-hand side at the exit of the last corner. So that's really going to hurt quite a few drivers' exits.
Oh, and Bossman hits him.
Bossman comes around and nails him right in the side pod. So that's really tough luck for these drivers. Bossman ain't Get That Money and Run.
He was contacted again. I'm not sure which driver that was. I
believe it was Stig. Yes, it was. Stig has also hit him. So this is a very awkward place for their cars to be. Thankfully, they're gone now, but that's really going to be unfortunate for these drivers that did get affected, especially Bossman, who came around unsighted. And once you're committed to that corner, you can't miss him, because he was right at the exit where you're supposed to be. And once you're committed, it's over.
Tough luck.
Now I'm going to be watching Pecan here coming through the first sector now. I'm going to jump around for a little bit. Let's see who else I have to watch. Miami coming up towards the final corner now. He is already P7. He drives in a little too deep. Doesn't quite turn in fast enough, and he goes quite a bit slower that lap, so it looks like that was a cooldown lap. And Lucas is coming through the final chicanes now, going towards the bridge chicane. Let's see if he can hit this right. It looks like he barely clipped that inside wall. That's not going to help him too much. Now for this final right-left chicane. And it looks like he got invalidated as he is now slowed down. He's on the hard compound tires for some reason. So either that's a glitch, or he's really going for an interesting strategy. He goes into P11 on his cooldown lap.
If he can get into the top 10 with hards, that could be beneficial if he can make them last, but
The hard
That's gonna be
compound
tough.
tires, they're so much slower than the mediums or soft. So it really isn't worth running them. They do last
Okay.
quite a while. They can last all the way to a soft compound stint at the very end of the race, but if it's really worth it or not, I'm not quite sure.
Maybe he is trying an alternative strategy.
He can try as much as he wants to, but he's really going to have to pick up the pace if he wants to get into the top 10 for the strategy to really pan out.
I agree.
As Glenn Coco is having some technical issues. He has no sound in the cockpit of his car. So that's very unfortunate for him. He's not going to be able to hear his car as he's trying to qualify. As Sniper Pig comes around to start another flying lap. Dives on into turn 1. These drivers, I can really tell they haven't quite experimented enough with those curves in the 1-2-3 complex. You can really ride those curves quite hard, especially in turn 2. You can basically straight line the exit up towards turn 3, and it looks like Sniper Pig wasn't validated at the exit of turn 3. Just went a little bit too wide. If your left side tires barely touch the white lines around here, it will give you it will invalidate you for exceeding track limits. So it's very easy to get disqualified around this track for track limits.
I do apologize for the lack of changing camera angles. I'm not exactly sure yet where the end of the lap is, so.
If they're in a bunch of chicanes, that's where they are.
I've gotten that part.
And also, you can look up at the top right as Hono sets a lap time of a 1:36.8, puts himself up into P3.
Luckily, I was on the right person.
Yeah, you can just, whenever you scan through, just look for Sector 3. As it looks like Breezy is in the wall. So Breezy has hit the wall and reset onto the track in the Singapore Sling department. So he's going to have to come back around, get himself a new front wing, and try again.
I just got a message on our stream. CKT Gamer would like a shout out.
Hello, CKT. All right. See if I can find somebody else to ride along with. Kill the Birdman coming underneath the bridge now. Up to finish his flying lap with quite a few other drivers behind him, including, I believe, Dollar Hyde right behind him. As we have yet another yellow flag in sectors 1 and 3. And Breezy is retired from the session for some reason. Looks like he decided he couldn't. Oh, there was a collision between Thunder and Breezy. Not quite sure what happened there, but Thunder now has to go into the pit lane to get a new front wing. Tough luck for Thunder. It looks like he was on a lap until that incident happened.
And quite an eventful qualifying here. I can only imagine what the race is going to be like. Hopefully these drivers can actually keep it clean for the race.
I really hope so too, because if not, it's going to turn into Belgium 2.0, and nobody wants that.
No.
But at least everybody that finishes will get a point. As now I'm riding here with Real Space Hero. She comes up towards the first chicane. Like I said, this is the hardest one. That wall protrudes out on the exit, so it's really, really easy to hit it if you don't get the corner correct. Have a little bit of understeer. It's easy to hit that wall. Coming through this final chicane, this one you want to make sure you get a really good exit to set yourself up well for this final corner. This corner's almost flat out. All you have to do is just go in, lift off, and get back on it. And Real Space Hero puts in a time of 1:37.446 to put himself up into P4. Ahead of the Ferrari of Pecan, who will be really looking forward to having a good race here for his championship.
Yeah, last week was very detrimental to Pecan's championship, and this race is nearly make or break for him. It can really turn around his season or ruin it.
Yeah, this is definitely a pivotal race in his season, but he's really going to have to beat Sniper Pig here. But Sniper Pig has been practicing all week, and he is very fast around this track. She is a full 0.6 faster than everybody else so far in this qualifying session.
The Red Bulls today seem very confident with their tracks set up.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Sniper Pig's really been practicing all week. Been talking to him all week about trying to find pace around here. And I really kind of set him a lap time to chase after. And he definitely improved quite a bit on that lap. Let's see if he can put in his best lap time here in this session. I know he's gone a lot faster than 1:36.1. But it's really hard to put that lap together whenever you're under pressure.
Alright.
See if I can find anybody else. Yeah, here comes Glenn Coco towards the finish line. Let's see what he can do. He goes a 1:49.6, but it was invalidated, so he will stay in P19 for now. Gonna jump over here to Pecan, who is 2.5 tenths up on his previous time. Currently in P5, but if he does gain 2.5 tenths, it will put him in P4. Let's see if he can get this hairpin correct, and it looks like he has. Barely misses that apex and goes a little bit wide. And you really want to get a good run out of there, or else you'll have a really bad one towards this corner. And he is 8 tenths up after the second sector, so it looks like his first flying lap really had some issues in it. As now he really uses a lot of that curb on turn-in. And now going into the second chicane underneath the bridge. Let's see if he can get a good third chicane. A little bit of oversteer on exit there. A little more oversteer in the middle of that chicane. Let's see if that hurt him any at all. As Hefty Bag goes up into P4 for that Racing Point F1 team. And Pecan improves by 9 tenths of a second to go 1:36.5 and put himself into P2. A mere 3.5 tenths away from Sniper Pig.
This is going to be a very interesting race to watch.
I can't help but agree with you on that one. This is going to be very fun.
Vilsack in Sector 3 looking to improve on his time in the Ferrari.
Somebody just improved, but I don't know who. Glenn Coco did. Glenn Coco put himself up into P9. How loud is the crunch whenever I eat those chips, by the way?
I didn't really notice. I was not paying attention.
Okay, good. Dilsack goes a 1:36.9, but it was invalidated, so that's tough for him. So he will have to complete yet another lap, but he showed pretty promising pace there. That would be top 5 if he could just get that lap in without getting invalidated.
Oh, okay, and there is contact in Sector 3 between Lucas and Eat the Green Bean, aka Duck.
Lucas was severely hampered by that, it seems.
Lucas was actually the one that backed out of it and made the contact originally.
Space comes across the line to start another flying lap. Gonna jump over here to Sniper Pig, who is a 10th up on his time after the first sector. See if he can improve on that 36.1, maybe dip down into the 35s, be the first driver into those 35s. Quite a few of these drivers can get there, but it doesn't seem like they're quite getting in those clean laps that they can in time trial and in practice.
Sniper Pig, you can see the confidence when he's like setting up for these apexes.
That was a beautiful hairpin as well. He's really on a scorcher lap time here. As there's a stricken Haas, it looked like, waiting for him to go by. Sniper Pig now into the third and final sector, going through these chicanes. It's so easy to lose a lot of time in these chicanes. Got a really good exit there, barely tapped the wall. Hopefully that doesn't mess him up too. Really good apex on this first one, as well as the second corner in that chicane. So now comes up towards this final chicane. Let's see if he can improve on his lap as he sweeps it on into this final corner. Let's see what he can do, and he goes a 135.8. So he does improve and go and improve his provisional pole up to a 135.8, a whole 6/10 faster than Pecan. Is now Real Space Hero comes around the final corner for the final time here in qualifying, and he puts himself into P5, just barely passing Real Space Hero. Dollar High comes around the final corner and sets a better lap, but it's not quite good enough to move up any positions. Glen Coco seems to be stricken in underneath the bridge. He's really gonna want to get out of the way, as it looks like Man's coming around the final corner now, but he's not on a very competitive lap. Gonna jump up to Miami now, who is coming across Glen Coco. Hopefully, yep, Glen Coco is out of the way, so Miami won't have to worry about that. Let's see if Miami can put himself into the top 10 here, and he does not. And Glen Coco peels off into the pits, so everybody is done, and Sniper Pig gets a commanding pole position here with a 135.894, a whole 6/10 faster than Pecan in P2 and Honos in P3. 2/10 behind Pecan. And like I said before, this track is going to be one of those tracks that you're really going to see a huge disparity in lap time in qualifying. Hopefully,
yeah, anything can go wrong.
Hopefully, it's not like this for the race. As here is your qualifying order and your grid order for this race. Sniper Pick, pole position, but a 135.894 for Red Bull. Another pole position for him. A great reign of terror he's putting on the league now. Pecan in P2 for Ferrari. Honos P3 for Renault. Breezy in P4 for Williams. Real Space Hero in that second Red Bull puts it into P5. Hefty Back gets Racing Point up into the top 10. He goes P6. Dollar High P7 for Williams. The Stig with a 5-place grid penalty goes into P8 for Alfa Romeo. Dilsack P9 for Ferrari. Glen Coco P10 for Haas. Miami and Kill the Birdman P11 and P12 for Toro Rosso. Man P13 for Mercedes. Lucas P14 for Haas. And then after that, I really don't know, because I didn't scroll.
I'm very impressed with the showing from Sniper Pig throughout this entire season. He's proved time and time again that he is extremely quick and always has the confidence at every track. And no matter how many times we've gone through races, he never seems to fall.
Yep. He's definitely in a great form right now in this UDL F1 league. With only 6 rounds left, he's almost got this title wrapped up. Oh.
What a quali. Hopefully we don't have that many incidents in the race.
Oh. Gonna go on over here to time trial and kind of look at the times that these drivers were setting. Jump into the leaderboard here. The global world record for this track is a 133.0 set by Louis Welch. Very tough time to get. As you can see at the bottom there, my best time is a 135.1. That was my best valid time. As we go over here to the friend leaderboard, Sniper Pig, the best of the drivers in this race, followed by Hefty Bag right behind him. Pecan, his best lap so far in his best Jesus Christ. His best lap so far in time trial is a 1:36.1, so he was around the relative pace of what he had before, but I was really looking for Hefty Bag and Sniper Pig to really set some a lot faster times than that, especially Hefty Bag. I was really disappointed by his qualifying session there.
Yeah, in qualifying, anything can happen. You can get stuck behind somebody, have a small incident. Pressure is on a lot more in qualifying rather than when you're just practicing. So. That being said, who is your pick for the top 3 of this race?
In all honesty, Sniper Pig for the win. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Real Space Hero for P3 because I know he's consistent, and that's what you need around here. And Hefty Bag for P2. I know I did that podium all out of whack, but I think Hefty Bag has what it takes to be on the podium here.
I'm going to agree with the first 2. My third would be Pecan if he can keep his consistency.
If he can keep it together, then definitely look for him to be.
I think this is the race where. Most cases, that is correct. So,
oh yeah.
I think he's gonna show pretty well today what he's made of.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a Gatorade and get ready for this race.
Okay. Alright, joining up on the race lobby. Gotta reform the grid, and then we should be getting underway pretty soon.
Alright. Waiting for one more driver here. Not quite sure who it is that we're waiting for, but we're waiting for them. Let me go through. Let's see, McLaren. We're waiting for... Who was the other McLaren driver this week? Thunder. That's who we're waiting for. We're waiting for Thunder.
Hopefully they can make their way in here pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully. We should be starting here with a full grid, so, and there is Thunder. And everybody is readying up here soon, so hopefully we can get this race lobby going.
Yep.
To all you guys watching now, I'm going to start streaming Modern Warfare as well, so I'll probably do that after this race, so make sure you check in if you want to see some Call of Duty content.
One thing that should be brought up, we have a new driver that will be entering the UDL here soon. His name is Intersport, and in our previous league, he is the champion of the IndyCar season and the World Endurance Championship. So he could be a threat for the podium in some of these closing races.
Absolutely, and he'll really be throwing a wrench in this title battle between Pecan and Sniper Pig. See if he can steal some points away from either one of those drivers, as well as any of the other drivers that might join in at the end of this season.
For sure. I just thought I'd bring that up because I know he's watching.
See, whose POV is he watching is the real question.
Probably yours?
Ooh. Hello, Intersport. We're gonna place bets in Vegas for John or Damage. See who gets this bet. See who gets all the Monet. Or he just won't say anything and leave us hanging.
We want to know what stream you're on, Intersport. We know you're there.
I've got 50 on him. I've got 50 on him joining your stream just to say he's there. Oh, here we go. The race lobby is now loading up.
And he's on my stream.
Go figure. Let's see. My viewer count went down to 9 from 10. Then yours went up to 4. Woo! Good job, Intersport. Way to make me some money. All right, you owe me $50, brother. Come on.
I ain't paid you anything. Thank you, Intersport, for trying to lose me $50.
Alright, now the drivers are picking their setups and their strategies for this race. I'm really excited to see what we got here for strategy. Remember, the top 10 have to start on the soft compound tires that they qualified on. But all the rest of these drivers can pick anything else. We'll have 10 drivers on an alternate strategy here today. Let's see if those drivers can get an advantage and really take advantage of how long the tire life is on the medium and hard compound tires. As the first driver is now readied up, so that means the session start countdown will start. We have 20 seconds left until the start of the formation lap. As we sit here and stare at these front wings. Beautiful array of front wings, by the way. Yeah,
at least they look good.
I just noticed a glitch. So Green Bean's tires turned to, wait, why are there so many people on the wrong tire here? There are so many drivers that are not on the soft compound tire. Hello? Is it saying the same thing for you?
I'm currently looking.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
6 out of the top 10 is not on the soft compound tire.
I only see 5 people on soft compound tire out of the entire grid.
This is interesting, to say the least. Definitely gonna have to have some words with quite a few people after this race.
This is an interesting development.
The real question is, will any of these drivers starting on the wrong tire get any sort of an advantage? I would assume so, because they can run their soft compound stint at the end of the race on low fuel and really take a huge advantage.
We just got a word in the chat on your stream. It's not letting them choose offs.
That's an interesting glitch, and probably should be accounted for by restarting the lobby of some sort. So, I mean, that would be my take, would be restart everything if there's a glitch like this.
I would have to agree. I don't know whether it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if they're gonna do it or if they're just gonna race it out and hope for the best, but I mean, it's kind of unfortunate for the drivers that chose the soft compound tires. They're gonna be at a huge disadvantage.
Other people that are going to be at a disadvantage include Pecan, Real Space Hero, Dollar, Dig, and Dillsack being on the hards.
Not quite sure what we're gonna do here, but the lights are coming on, so 5 lights, and the lights are out, and away we go for the Singapore GP. Looks like Sniper Pig got a really good start on those soft compound tires. Pecan is in jeopardy of that P2. He goes really wide and cuts the second corner to stay ahead of Breezy. They have a bit of contact further back, I'm pretty sure. There's a huge gaggle of cars there, 3 to 4 wide. Look at this fanning out. There's some carbon fiber all over the place. There's quite a few drivers trying to fit on this little tiny track. Sheesh. As Breezy now gets past Pecan on that straight with the help of ERS, and it looks like Pecan holds it around the outside. We have Dollar Hyde. Dollar Hyde went straight at that corner, and he went straight into the runoff area. Pecan and Breezy once again side by side through this middle sector. Breezy's really going to want to get past Pecan as quick as possible so he can set his eyes onto Sniper Pig out front. So have a little bit more racing on further back for P5. Got a few cars battling it out. Stig, Real Space Hero, and Hefty Bag. Hefty Bag seems to have a little bit of front wing damage on the right front, so really tough for him.
Sniper Pig just walking away from everyone
as they battle behind him. He's just going to pull a huge gap to everybody else.
This is not a track you want to battle at the start.
Yeah, you definitely want to be single file and get as many laps down as possible as Hefty Bag peels off into the pit lane to get his front wing changed. Really huge disappointment for him, as it doesn't look like he got any sort of a penalty. It's Breezy and Pecan swap positions there. Breezy goes up into P2, and now he'll be setting his sights onto Sniper Pig, but it'll be very hard for him to catch Sniper Pig on the soft compound tires.
Interesting camera view from my stream there for a minute. On the rear wing of a McLaren.
That is a pretty interesting view.
Haas, I mean. Sorry about that.
As Man is retired from the session, it looks like he accidentally put on intermediate compound tires, so he just decided that his race would be over. It's Fiji as well as in the pit lane to fix some damage, so quite a few drivers had some front wing damage at the start of this race. Not very surprising, seeing as how it's Singapore.
Definitely an expensive race.
We do still have an elongated yellow flag in Sector 1. Not quite sure why. as the top three are really starting to pull a top four, I mean, are really starting to pull a gap on the rest of the field. Glen Coco had a great first lap, and he's all the way up into P5 from P10 on the grid on those soft compound tires. Bangs it off the wall a little bit, but thankfully for him, it was just a tire that hit and not the front wing.
You gotta take care of your front ring at this track. Any little damage with how high speed the corners are and how close the walls are, any little bit of damage is detrimental.
As Glen Coco and Stig are side by side, they're 3 wide coming up into this final corner. Stig really ran Glen Coco out of real estate there, and Glen Coco will drop down 2 positions because of it, and it looks like Space might be trying to get the overtake on Stig here. Coming into this next sequence of corners, he's going to go for the undercut. Is it going to work? It looks like it has with DRS open. Now he'll be able to fly on by and jump up into P5 from P7. Stig will stay in P6, and oh, never mind. Glen Coco with a nice move up the inside, a nice late braking attempt there to get himself back up into P6. The Stig looks like he is really getting his elbows out here, trying to defend for his P7 now. He's side by side, and it looks like Kill the Birdman might have overdone it into that corner a little bit, so he runs a bit wide. And Hefty Bag once again is in the pit lane for some reason.
Not a great race for Hefty this right now.
As Duck gets a 5-second grid penalty for corner cutting and gaining an advantage. As a lot of these drivers are calling for a reset, but not very many people are actually going to be noticing. As now there's a virtual safety car on the track for somebody. I'm not quite sure who. This boss man takes advantage and goes into the pits. Looks like
seeing anyone.
A lot of the drivers are saying they're gonna leave in the UDL chat, but it doesn't look like anything's happening. Somebody really needs to take initiative here and start the process. Pecan puts in the chat restart, and it looks like we are going to restart as he has left. So we will have a session restart here after 3 laps. Sniper Pig is going to be a little disappointed with that because he was 6.5 seconds ahead. But on the other hand, Hefty Bag's going to be very happy that we're resetting because he got a terrible first lap.
Yes.
Now it's time to wait a little bit. Sorry for the inconvenience. The game glitched out.
Yep. Happens. It happens sometimes, and we just gotta deal with it.
As as Hefty Bag tells us the reason that he had a bad start. He said he wasn't even holding the clutch at the start because he thought we were restarting.
That is very unlucky.
But it's very lucky for him that we're restarting. On a side note, Takis are the best thing since sliced bread. How are your colors so bright, vibrant, bro?
That is called HDR.
I don't even know where the options are. There they are. Settings. Graphics.
Do you have PS4 Pro and 4K TV?
No.
That's the reason.
Gotcha. Okay, so my stream looks like, you know, terrible compared to everybody else's, but, you know, it's okay. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and join up on this new race lobby.
So, I just got a message from one of our drivers for the WEC saying thank you for the restart because now he can watch.
If you get in, send me another invite, because mine didn't work.
Alright, doing it now.
Everybody in chat and watching this race, what is your favorite flavor of Gatorade? I jump around. My favorite one's strawberry.
Say, I don't remember what it's called. It's one that I have at work quite often.
What color is it?
A light blue.
Oh yeah, the light blue's okay. I'm drinking the cool blue right now, the dark one. The light blue, I get different ones all the time. I just get the 12 packs, or the 10 packs, or whatever they are.
For this week, I have the cool blue and the light blue for work for the week, so...
I like white cherry a lot as well. White cherry's pretty good.
White cherry messes with me. Every time I drink it, I'm looking at it as white, and it tastes like red, and it just confuses me.
I will say the white cherry Powerade is better than the white cherry Gatorade.
I've not tried that. One thing I would like to say is, after this league race, I will happily be returning to one of my favorite shows.
You're right, I know how to party, Intersport. And look at that, he commented that on my stream. So guess whose stream he's actually watching, fool?
I know!
See? I knew it, 50 bucks right there. Thanks, Intersport.
You're not getting my money.
I would be eating sunflower seeds, but I can't talk with sunflower seeds in my mouth. Sunflower seeds are bae. And if you don't think the same, nope. He said he has both of them on. Pfft, I don't know about that. Now you might after you went to his. I'm sure mine's a little bit more predominant though, buddy. Right, Intersport?
I swap back and forth constantly to see the comments on both.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Definitely ready for season 4 of Rick and Morty to start tonight. Been too long.
We have a little bit of strong conversations going on in the chat right now.
I noticed.
Some drivers not really happy with how they were raced there in that first start, so maybe we can get a little bit of a cleaner act together here. Or maybe it can be even worse and we can have a huge pile up. You never know.
I don't think we're going to have 2 restarts, so there's a huge pile up, we're going to have an issue.
I mean, if any race was a restart worthy race, it would have been it would have been at Spa, and we didn't have one at Spa, so we're not going to have one here.
Well, it was pretty brutal for these drivers.
You could really tell that not a lot of them did long run practice, and it showed.
Yes.
There's quite a bit of strong feelings going around right now. Little couple of drivers are nice and hot-tempered. Don't know quite what that's gonna.
Not the way we want to start the second race.
This might end up being a NASCAR style race.
Let's hope not. These cars are definitely not meant to withstand that.
Oh. Alright, I'm ready for this to start.
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry for this inconvenience.
We need to get racing so this argument will stop. Got some Minecraft Hunger Games to play. Not really, but that's shout out to the good old days. Alright, everybody, hurry up and ready up. Let's go. Get the lobby started.
So, just like to say something that is very cool. There is currently a car at SEMA that they took a Mazda RX-7 and put the front end of a Mazda Furai on it.
Oh boy.
Looks pretty beautiful. I don't know about you, but I am ready to race. Well, watch some races.
Yeah, me too. Ready to watch something go down here. Here we go. Take two. Action.
All right. Welcome everyone to the
Welcome everybody to part 2 of the Singapore GP. This will be a 35 lap race since we've already done 4. Let's see if these guys can actually figure out how to get on the soft compound tires this time.
Yeah, I don't really want to be handing out a lot of penalties.
I don't either. But, you know, do what you gotta do. As we have a car in the pit lane for some reason. Oh, there he goes.
Okay.
So the bug I saw earlier is that on the left you can see Man's Pit in Mercedes, and you can see that he's got soft compound tires sitting there. But whatever tires, whatever the sidewall of the tires show, is what they're on. Like, see how it just changed to hards?
Oh,
So we can see one driver's strategy before it comes up. Woo! If we can free cam, we can see everybody's. Imagine having a free cam for this. Oh, that'd be beautiful. Codemasters, if you're watching this, I want royalty for the idea. As the second formation lap is starting and Con is still on the hard compound tires. Everybody else in the top 10 except for Stig seem to get it right and go on softs, but Pecan and Stig are still on the hard compound tires, so this is definitely interesting, to say the least.
this is gonna be dramatic, to say the least.
For sure. It looks like we might actually have to hand out a couple of penalties because all the drivers were told how to make sure they had soft compound tires, and all but two figured it out.
Yes.
As beyond the top 10, the only driver on the soft compound tires is Miami. Everybody else went on to the mediums or the hards. So they're going to be looking to really get to have a good final stint on those soft compound tires, as well as Pecan and Stig on those hards. Whatever they do, they better make sure they're 5 seconds ahead of whoever they beat. Or 10 or whatever. Yeah. What's the penalty? 15, 10, 5?
I do not remember. I have it written down somewhere, so.
Whatever the time penalty is, they're going to have to beat whoever's behind them by that much. This Man has left the session for some reason. So now they're coming up to the final corner at the end of their formation lap. See if we can have a little bit different of a turn one here, as there's quite a few drivers on the that are now stuck on the formation. They got disqualified from the formation lap and are stuck on the grid. So definitely not fun to see that.
All right.
Now all the drivers are in their grid slots. So will be coming on here soon. 2 lights, 3, 4, 5. And the lights are away we go for the Singapore GP Part 2. It's off to a really good start once again. Breezy pulls to the inside. Honos to the outside of Pecan, but Pecan once again goes very wide at turn 1 and through turn 2. We've got quite a bit of battling here towards the back of the field to see if everybody gets through. It looks like they do. Hefty Bag up into P5 from his original starting position, as all the drivers are now making their way to turn 4 as we have a car sideways in front of the field. It looks like both of the Toro Rossos and the Renault of Bossman caught up in this first lap crash. Terrible luck.
Unlucky.
Gotta start getting a little more settled into this race. Sniper Pig once again is held on to that P1, but this time Pecan isn't battling Breezy for P2, so he's not quite gonna be able to pull as far away as he did last time. Wow. Interesting.
That was a horrible start for the two Rossos and the Renault of Bossman. Not the way they wanted to start this race.
As now Sniper Pig is starting to pull away a bit, but everybody else seems to be training up behind Pecan on the hard compound tires. This is the back. Quite a bit of time there. Honos is going to gain him, but Honos has Breezy right behind him for company, as well as Hefty right behind Breezy. Looks like Breezy He had a really bad exit. Hefty's going to be looking to the inside, going to turn 1. Get the stick, not quite close enough.
We have a message from the driver of Pecan asking if he should pit for softs.
Yes. To mitigate from getting a penalty, yes. As Hefty Bag got a little bit of oversteer, he had a little bit of contact and lost a couple of positions. Now he's fighting back for P6 from Real Space Hero. Looks like he'll take it. And no, he goes straight into the wall. Straight into the wall trying to get a move done. Here in turn 4, I believe. And his was all in it. You get time penalty for collision with Thunder. So huge disappointment there. Back. He got off to a great start compared to last. That definitely deteriorated. Breezy goes very wide in the pin. He has the front wing down as well as Duck, but Duck takes 6 on those medium compound tires. There's the yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. Not quite sure who that's for. It's for the McLaren of Imran Thunder. And he has now left the session. So tough luck for him. And for that McLaren team as Glenn Coco gets an overtake done on Dilsack, who seems to have a broken front wing. Glenn Coco does. Quite a few drivers now peel off into the pit lane to get a new front wing. Breezy will pull into the pit lane. I'm surprised not many more drivers peeled in because there's quite a bit of time lost to having a broken front wing.
I would like to apologize right now for if my stream is not changing camera views very often. I'm also trying to be a steward as well, so...
As Honos gets the overtake done on Pecan for P2 in the Singapore GP. Pecan's going to fall like a rock on those hard compound tires. It's just a matter of time before Dollar High catches up to him and passes him for P3. And there's been a huge disappointment here for quite a few drivers once again. As Dollar Hyde is right on the rear diffuser of Pecan here, looking to get this P3 away from Pecan.
Pecan may be pitting here in the next couple laps. Possibly now if he has seen the message by now.
As Pecan is coming through this final few chicanes with Dollar Hyde right on his rear diffuser. So if Pecan pulls into the pit lane to mitigate his penalty, that will be a huge time loss for him. And it looks like he does not this lap. He will stay out, continue circulating. He might end up just trying to stretch it out and go for a 2-stop instead and try to make something out of this.
Not sure.
I do know that the soft compound tires will last around 10 laps. And race fuel and pushing as hard as you can. So these drivers on these soft compound tires will be able to go 10 laps and then chuck on the mediums or the hards to make it to the end of the race. And they can extend them a little bit if they don't push very hard. But I have a feeling these drivers are really going to be pushing, trying to get every bit of position they can here in this first few laps. As Dilsack, and there's another crash once again as 3 drivers get intertangled with each other. Dilsack went for the move on Glenn Coco, pushed him out a bit wide, and then Get That Money and Run was trying to avoid both of them and hit them and lost quite a bit of his front wing. He's definitely going to have to come in and get that fixed. He's got a nice plank on the right front.
The drama already in the beginning stages of this race.
Jump back up to the front here. Oh, never mind. I'm going to jump back down. Bossman gets the overtake done on Lucas for P10. There's quite a bit of close racing here in this midfield, so I might stay with them for a while. Bossman makes a little bit of contact with the rear diffuser of Get That Money and Run. Get That Money and Run is severely slow through the corners because of his wing damage. So he's really going to be hindering quite a lot of these drivers behind him as Bossman looks to the inside but can't quite get close enough to make a move. He's just going to have to sit behind this McLaren until the McLaren peels into the pit lane. As Real Space Hero peels off into the pit lane, forcing medium compound tires. So he must have had some wing damage of some sort or something to warrant that early of a pit stop. Quite a few drivers are now populating the pit lane with Glen Coco, Get That Money and Run, and Dulsac, all three drivers in that incident, now into the pits to get a new front wing. Breezy sets the new fastest lap of the race on his brand new set of medium compound tires. So Breezy's really going to be on a mission here to try to get as many points as possible for that Williams team.
Just like to let you know I'm starting to hear some lag. I think it's on my end, but still a little bit of a fair warning.
Okay. Pecan and Dollar Hyde are still engaging in battle. Dollar Hyde tried to take an overtake on Pecan, but Pecan shut the door and Dollar Hyde had to avoid him and lost quite a bit of time. Now he's over a second behind. He's really going to want to reel that in so he can get into that DRS and get back up onto that diffuser of Pecan. As now the field is already strung out quite a bit, over a 1 second gap between every position, as Sniper Pig peels into the pit lane after 4 laps on his soft tires. I'm not quite sure if he had a wing damage. He did not.
Does not look like it.
So he's going for a 2-stop, it seems. Soft, medium, medium. It's a very bold strategy call from him. He thinks he's going to have the pace to really hold on to this and be able to pass a lot of cars and bring it home. As he comes back out onto the track, NP8. It looks like he'll come out with a huge space between himself and Fiji behind. But now he's going to have to pass quite a few cars to really take advantage of putting on new tires. As we have another yellow flag as Man retires from the session. He crashed in the third sector. So that's not a very good showing from Man here. Very tough for him. It looks like he has some suspension damage in this third sector. As Drew Hughes came around and hit him. So Man's car was still sitting on the track and Drew Hughes comes around and hits him. So now Drew Hughes has a little bit of front wing damage. So it looks like I will now be doing this alone, apparently. Oh man, Get That Money and Run and Glen Coco have a huge coming together there. They both slide off into the into the runoff area, and Dulsac trying to come through gets hit by Get That Money and Run. Miami gets through as well. Honos and Dollar High coming to the pit lane, and they put on a new, fresh set of medium compound tires. So now, as Get That Money and Run has left the session, Glen Coco gets back into the session here. Sniper Pig and Lucas battling it out for P5. Sniper Pig gets past, and now he'll be setting his eyes onto the Stig right in front of him. Stig is on some 6-lap-old hard tires, and it'll be easy pickings for Sniper Pig. He looks up the inside here through this right-hander, and it looks like he will have the move done. So great overtaking maneuvers here by Sniper Pig to get himself back up into P4 already in this race. As Honos is right behind him here. Got another swap of positions here between Miami and Glen Coco. They're side by side coming down this DRS straight into the left-hander. Miami goes a little bit wide, has a little bit of oversteer. Glen Coco trying to defend his position here. A little bit of contact there on the exit. And Glen Coco overcooks it into that left-hander, and he will lose a couple of positions here. He'll be under threat from Hefty Bag right behind him in P15. Looks like Breezy has hit the wall. He has a little bit of front wing damage himself. Bossman only 3.5 tenths behind. Eat that green bean. He looks to the outside, but Duck pulls over into his path on the braking zone, and Bossman hits him and loses a bit of his front wing. So unfortunate for Bossman there. Duck, a little bit of movement there in the braking zone, and it really hurt him quite a bit. Now Bossman looks to the outside through this kink and now to the inside. He will make the move stick. So after a little bit of damage has been done, Bossman puts himself up into P2 on those medium compound tires. Wow. What a start we've had here. As Breezy is peeled off into the pit lane once again to get a new front wing. He should really just start trying to stay out and just keep running on the front wing. So now he's on another set of hard compound tires here. He's going to try to make it to the end of this race. Sniper Pig and Eat That Green Bean side by side going to this next right-hander, and Sniper Pig looks like he has gotten it all the way around the outside. It's a great move, great driving skill here from Sniper Pig as Honos and Lucas are battling it out here. Honos seems to have gotten that place over Lucas, and now he's going to be trying to put this pressure on the Stig. It looks like he will have the inside line, but not quite close enough to be able to get the move to get by him here. So Honos really on a mission here to try to keep up with Sniper Pig and get through all this traffic and be able to keep up and try to get this P1 away from Sniper Pig. Pecan once again will either have a penalty or will have to go into the pit lane as Honos now gets by the Stigs. Now Honos will be released to try to chase after Eat That Green Bean and Bossman as well as Sniper Pig in P3. As it looks like we've had a few different areas of caution here. Hefty Bag has a huge bit of his front wing missing here. And I wouldn't be surprised if he got into some sort of a tangle with another driver. And that really hurt his race quite a bit. So now Glen Coco is retired from the session for some reason. Glen Coco has now left the session. So a lot of drivers not really making it to the end, and Hefty Bag also has retired. So huge disappointment for a lot of these drivers. So now we're going to watch Space Hero and Stig battle it out for P6. Space trying to come up through the field. Side by side through this final corner, and Real Space Hero will take the position away from Stig, who had to go really wide there. This Bossman comes into the pit lane. He'll drop all the way down to P9 as well as Lucas. He just pulled off into the pit lane. And Bossman will come out, it seems, in P9. Breezy is now retired from the session. as he has broken his suspension underneath the bridge. Huge roadblock for Kill the Birdman. Kill the Birdman couldn't get through there. So huge disappointment for a lot of drivers here. Is now we only have 15 drivers left in the session. Quite a few drivers DNFing here already. So you have yet another yellow flag in Sector 2 for something as Dollar High gets by Stig. Stig goes really wide there in that in the hairpin. Well, now we're going to be looking at a real exciting race here as Stig peels off into the pit lane now to go on to what I presume would be the medium compound tires. Pecan is not serving any sort of a penalty here, so he's definitely going to be looking at a huge time penalty for starting on the wrong compound of tires if he does not make an extra stop for the softs. So we have Stig peeling off into the pit lane now. He actually just came out right behind Lucas and Dulsac, who are battling at the moment. Dulsac right in front of Lucas. Lucas is going to be looking to get by on those fresh mediums. As he has DRS, he's going to try to look to the inside here into this corner, but not quite close enough. Dulsac holds on to the position for now. As it looks like Stig tries to dive it in underneath Lucas and hits him and half spins it. So Stig's really getting impatient, falling around behind Lucas. So now there are 3 cars here battling it out for P10. So they also have a battle up close to the front here. I'm going to jump on over to that. Real space here looking to the outside of Green Bean. It looks like he'll have it. And he does. He gets around the outside. So space gets up into P4. Lucas gets past Dulsac, and there's a lot of movement here on this front straight. And the Stig takes the position away from Dulsac. So Dulsac falls from P10 to P12 here, as he gets quite a bit of oversteer coming out of the turn 3. Stig looks to the outside of Lucas, and Lucas puts him a little bit wide there, but Stig will get the overtake done, it seems. But Stig lets him back through. So it looks like Stig is either A, trying to have a little bit of fun, or B, notices that he did him wrong there and cut the corner to gain the advantage that he needed to take the position. As Eat That Green Bean goes into the pit lane for Mercedes. He went into the pit lane out of P6, and he is now going to drop down to around P10. I'm going to go ahead and invite somebody to the party chat to commentate with. So I'm sorry for the blue screen right here. I'm going to try to make this quick. Alright, here we go. So here we are. Sorry for going silent there for a bit. I had to deal with a little bit. But hasn't very much changed here. Because now we have Hefty Bag in the party to help me in the commentary booth. Remember, I'm trying to get monetized here.
Yes, yes. Confirm.
So here we are. I'm riding around with Lucas and Stig right now because they're the only ones remotely close to each other. Those two have had a couple of running togethers already.
It'll be interesting to see what Stig can put together in the DRS zone.
Yeah, let's see if he can get this overtake onto Lucas. He's been trying for quite a few laps. He's been stuck behind him for a while. As you can see, Duck right in front of him as well.
Looks like the Stig didn't get such a good run into the DRS zone, so he won't be able to get it done this time around. He's going to have to buy this time, for sure. Something to keep an eye on. Honos is catching in on Snipperpig in P3. That should be interesting later on in the race.
Yeah, Honos seems to have some really good pace on the medium compound tires here. His tires are a lap fresher than Snipperpig's in P2. Pecan started on the hard compound tires, so he has been given either the option of pitting or getting a 15-second time penalty. As
Green Bean is in the wall, and he falls down to P11, pushing Stig and Lucas into the points.
So looks like Green Bean made a big mistake there as he's now left the session. A lot of drivers have already left. It's really quite annoying that all these drivers are joining into this lobby just to leave before it even gets to halfway or right at halfway.
At least come help us commentate. Well, a spokesperson for Green Bean said that he was getting bored, so that's the commitment we like to see.
So now we have Stig right on the rear diffuser of Lucas going into the turn 1, 2, 3 complex. Still, a lot of these drivers aren't quite taking turn 2 the fastest way. You can straight line over that curb and not get any sort of a penalty, but you have to get it just right, or else it'll really hurt you through turn 3. Is now Stig is right on the rear diffuser of Lucas once again in this DRS straight. He's 4/10 of a second behind, now 3/10, 2/10, but close enough. Put in a bit of a gap there, but he's going to lose all that time in the dirty air for the rest of the lap.
Looks like Miami's catching up to a back marker of get that money and run. Hopefully he keeps it clean.
Get that money and run. We'll be getting the blue flags.
That money and run is spinning. He spun out, and here comes Lucas and Stig. So Lucas and Stig staying together and just running up the pack. This is crazy.
So Miami spins it here in this hairpin complex, and now he's blocking the road, so he better get turned around quick. Oh man, as the McLaren of Thunder comes through and barely clips him, and now Dilsack comes through. So now
and there's contact. Stig and Lucas Stig taps Lucas diffuser, and they go for a little bit of a spin, but they're still together going into the final chicane, heading to the penultimate corner.
Stig is getting really impatient. So now Stig is right behind Lucas once again. He seems to be a little bit closer this time around, but he loses a lot of time in that dirty air in the final corner.
Yep. I can't help but notice every time Stig gets close to a DRS zone, he gets in his head a little bit and he falls back. Whoa! More contact! Stig is just launching at Lucas any chance he gets. That might need to be taken a look at by the stewards because they've been doing this for a while now.
So now Stig once again has the DRS. He'll look to the outside of Lucas. There's a back marker right in front of both of these drivers. Lucas trying to hold on to it. They squeeze it 3 wide there for a second, but Stig finally gets the move to stick on Lucas, but Lucas is trying to come back at him, looking at the inside, but not quite close enough to get it done. So Stig comes through finally for that P8 that used to be for P11. Now they're fighting for points. Dollar Hyde
barrier, opening the door for Boss Man.
Lost a lot of his front wing there, so it looks like he's going to have to pit once again. Dollar Hyde will. Big shame for him. He was riding around in P5. So Boss Man will probably gain this position as well as quite a few other drivers, including Fiji.
Oh, Lucas in the barrier!
Lucas in the barrier. No, Stig is in the barrier. And one of the McLarens of Get That Money and Run is there as well. So
that barrier has become ridiculous. It is ruining several races, and the marshals need to get on it ASAP.
So now Stig has no front wing. We're really going to have to look back and see what happened there in that incident. But his teammate of Fiji in the Alpha is having a career best day right now. He's riding around in P5, but he has not stopped yet. He's on those hard compound tires that he's been on since the first lap. He's getting right up to the pit window.
Looks like Dalla just served a time penalty in the pit, as well as switching on to the medium compound tires.
Stig is now pulling off into the pit lane as well to have his front wing changed. But now we're nice and strung out. Pecan still has to stop, and he is stopping right now. And Pecan bends it right into the wall, and it resets him. It resets him right onto the middle of the track at the exit of the final corner. That's a terrible place to be sitting. Hopefully nobody comes around and hits him.
There's a wheel rolling down the pit lane right now. This is pandemonium stuff right here. And Snipper Pig will move into the lead of the race, and we'll see how Hono's pit stop goes.
So Sniper Pig basically with a free pit stop here. He comes back
Hono's
out in the
also
lead.
serving a penalty in the pit. He's also serving a penalty. I think it was 5 seconds. This is crazy.
Let's see if he gets out in front of his teammate of Bossman. Bossman is way back, so it looks like Sniper Pig and Honos are the only two drivers. And there's a virtual safety car, so all these drivers are serving penalties.
Someone, I believe, just got another one for speeding through the pit lane. I couldn't see who exactly.
Bossman is definitely making sure he wasn't speeding. He was on the limiter for a year and a half, as now the virtual safety car has ended once again. DRS is once again enabled, so Pecan really going to be disappointed with this effort. He is now the 6th driver to DNF from this race.
Wow.
And maybe the two McLarens, if Get That Money and Running Thunder, just from pounding out laps, can get some points here. You saw how that went at Spa. The drivers that just stayed there and finished still got some points at the end of the day.
And with the way that the driver standings is looking right now, that is, and Bossman on 5-second time penalty, then he crossed the pit lane, exit white line.
And Stig retires from the session from
wow.
P13 or from P12. So Stig is going to be leaving this session as well. So quite a few drivers retiring from this session, and that's not something you want to see.
Interesting. Yeah, this is going to be quite interesting for driver standings. Because Snipper is going to get a whole lot of points that Pecan isn't right now.
Yeah, Sniper Pig, as long as he holds it.
I don't understand that barrier. It's like in the middle of this track and it's not, and it's glitching out.
Calm down, brother. He peels off into the pit lane once again.
Destroyed.
So I think he did hit the wall, because he's in the pits once again to get new tires and a new front wing.
Guess so.
So Honos is going to be gifted P1 here, and Space might even be gifted P2. So Sniper Pig going on to this, looks like I can't even see it. Terrible camera angle. He goes on to the hard compound tires. So the only tires he has left, I presume, and he'll come back out into P3, but a huge disappointment from him, leading the entire race, and now he's, or at least he was leading the entire race overall after all the pit stops were done.
So far, I can count 3 people, not including myself, whose races have been affected by that barrier in Sector 2 sticking out in the middle of the track. Drivers need to adjust to it right now because it is clearly changing the entire grid.
Watching Honos come through towards that barrier now. There it is. It looked nice and safe to me.
No, I think it's the barrier coming up at the end of this straight.
Oh, is it this one? Okay.
Yes.
They all look the same.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if you see it, but on mine it is like all over the track.
Oh my God. The barrier is all over the place. Oh my God.
I should not be laughing, but this has become comedic.
What is that? So now Lucas is riding around in his first podium position he's ever had, but Sniper Pig's going to be on a mission to take that away from him.
I tell you what, Bossman has been, just took down a gap that was 4 seconds now to 1.5. Let's see what he can do on Fiji over here. Oh, another one hits the barrier, Fiji.
The FIA needs to throw a safety car and fix that barrier or something.
Something is up over there. Bossman getting really close to Fiji here.
Not quite sure if that barrier's glitched or what. And Lucas gets disqualified from the session for ignoring a drive-through penalty. So a huge disappointment for him. He forgot to serve his drive-through penalty, and now he is disqualified.
Bossman has a good run on Fiji.
Bossman looks at he's not quite close enough to get the move done, but he'll get there. I'm sure of it. He's really been closing in fast, and he might even have enough to overtake Dollarhide right in front of him for P4. So Honos, in his, I believe, his second UDL F1 race,
and
is leading.
Gets the move done on Fiji.
So now Bossman will be setting his eyes out on Dollarhide. But Honos, great drive from him. It fell into his lap, but hey, as long as he can secure it in these last 10 laps, he's got a free win right in front of him, unless Real Space Hero can do anything about it and catch up to him. Take that P1 away from him for Space's first win of the league. These two drivers are going to be battling for their first win in the UDL F1 League. As now there's a yellow flag, and Snipper Pig has hit that barrier once again.
Oh no!
His front wing is busted once again, so Snipper Pig is falling like a rock.
Oh no! And
So
Bossman's gonna try and get a move on Dollar here. If he can get past him quickly, it's safe to say that Snipper Pig is not far behind, and a podium is in Bossman's reach.
Sniper Pig's gonna have to pit. His front wing is so dead, and he does peel off into the pit lane. So Sniper Pig
Wow.
gonna lose a lot of positions here. He's gonna lose at least 4 or 5. Bossman right on the rear diffuser of Dollar Hide, and he looks to the inside, and he gets it. Yeah.
Absolutely no issues there. The speed was clear. So he's got 25-second gap to get to Real Space Hero. It would be an absolute charge if he gets it. Driver of the day candidate for sure, in my opinion. If he gets it.
A lot of drivers are complaining about that wall. They're saying that it's invisible on their screen. Sniper Pig said that he hit it, but he couldn't see it. So the game is definitely glitching out here. Because now there are only 12 runners left in this race. Wow.
I certainly hope Pecan was streaming, because I would love to see a replay of him retiring from the race. I wonder how it happened. Was it in the pit lane?
Yeah, he drove straight into the pit lane wall, into the wall.
And it's a little bit of irony, but before the race, I was talking to Pecan, and he was telling me how that pit lane is going to be really tricky for some people. Oh, and Bossman whacks the wall that is just chilling in the middle of the track. It has just become a absolute obstacle for these drivers.
We are now on... We're not racing F1 anymore. We are now on the TV show of Wipeout. And you gotta avoid the obstacles here. As there's another yellow flag in Sector 2, most likely at that corner.
Whoever remembers Wipeout deserves the trophy.
Wipeout is the best TV show ever created.
That show was fantastic. But back to this obstacle course that is Singapore.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting to say the least.
To quite a few AI backmarkers, so hopefully
Oh
you can
boy,
navigate them cleanly.
especially since they're AI, this is going to be really bad for him. We know that Duck is AI. I'm pretty sure he's already left, but thankfully the blue flags get him to pull out of the way.
Space Hero is not the farthest behind.
He's only 5 seconds behind. Honos has any issues, Space will be right there. Let's kill the Birdman. Gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So now we have another commentator from the race of Pecan, who we just watched sadly bend it into the wall in pit lane entrance.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know what happened there. Just got loose going into the pits, and just my hard tires were pretty much done. I was going to go in and pit for softs, and I was trying to stretch out that run as best as I could, you know, and then go get on the softs, and then just, you know, just hit that wall badly, and that ended my race. But at the same time, I mean, it looks like it's not going to be a big hit with Sniper Pig having the problem that he is, but I just need to regroup, you know, for Russia, and just hope, you know, nothing bad happens at Russia. So
Okay, so just so you can see this as well, as Space Hero goes around the outside of a Mercedes there to lap him. Stay on board with right around with Honos for right now. And is it this next corner?
It's this next corner, yes. That's
Yeah.
coming to apparently where that invisible wall that drivers are reporting about.
You see that?
Oh my goodness! It is all the way out in the middle of the track on my screen, and while I
That
was
is-
racing, it also compromised my race as well, unfortunately.
Is Kill the Birdman and Eat That Green Bean are battling here. 4P9. Not quite sure if that's Duck's AI or not. I'm not sure if he joined back or anything.
This is AI.
So
get
I
that-
can't help but notice how Dollar is doing a pretty good job at increasing the gap on Fiji, and Bossman is doing the same thing on Dollar. So, and Dollar now has adapted to this wall sitting in the middle of the track, and he is taking a much more different line out of the straight. Very smart driving on his part.
Let's see if Sniper Pig takes the exact same line here through this corner. I know his first lap out after getting a front wing change, he did. And, oh, he hits it! He hits it
Oh
again!
no!
Sniper
He's going
Pig.
to be going in for his 5th stop this race if he decides to pit.
Sniper Pig, a terrible disappointment for him. That invisible wall is really killing him. I caught that one on live video as well.
This might
Just-
have been a blessing
Maybe for you.
for me, honestly. Yeah, for me, this is a bit of a blessing.
And
To be
he's
honest.
going in for the 5th time into the pit. Let's see if he retires or he just pops on a new compound tire. This should be interesting. It
He will
looks
lose a couple
like-
more points here, it seems. He's going to go back onto those hards that he ran on
Softs,
for...
on
Oh,
that.
no, softs. Let's
Softs,
see if
yes.
they're new. They are new. So he actually had a new set of softs saved up. So let's
The
see if
thing
he
is
adapts
about
his
these
line.
softs, though, the thing is about these softs, though, is that on this track, the driver, my teammate, was telling me that the softs fall off really quick around here and probably have a life
Yes.
span of at least 5 to 6 laps, and then they're just gone.
Fiji has actually brought his gap down by about 2 seconds on Dollar, so this should be interesting to see. Maybe Dollar's running on harder. Oh, Dollar had
Dollar
to slow down
goes into
severely.
the wall.
Here comes Fiji. Looks
Dollar
like
loses
Fiji's
a bit of his
struggling
front
with the
wing.
glitch.
Fiji's really coming up to get Dollar now. He's right behind him. Let's see if we can get another overtake here.
Oh, here we go.
So they come underneath the bridge now to the final chicane of the 26th chicane on the lap. Now through this final corner. Definitely not going to be very fun for Dollar without that front wing. Fiji.
So Snipper Pig has a 10-second gap he needs to close to snatch as many points as possible, and this is going to be huge for driver standings. This is crazy.
He's also, without a doubt, is going to be going for the fastest lap of the
Absolutely.
race as well, since he is on a new compound. He takes a
Look at
different
that line.
mindset to that.
Well, he learned from his mistakes, that's for sure. He is
From
not
what
going to
I-
hit that wall.
Invisible wall, I shall say.
Yeah. Now there's only 12 drivers left in this race, so the two McLarens might end up getting some points if anybody else hits that invisible wall and rage quits.
So far, a good race today for Honos, who has been filling in and is probably going to get a full-time ride out after this race today. He has rode a great race. He has stayed out of trouble, and he's filling in for Mr. Al, so you know that this has to make Al really happy, knowing, I mean, the Renault team is going to get a bunch of points out into this race today.
Yeah, Renault are now 1 and 3, both drivers on the podium. Space Hero in P2 as well for Red
And
Bull.
Dahl has gone off the track. Dahl has completely gone
Oh,
off the
no.
track. And Birdman has
Birdman was
retired from-
retired. I'm going to ride around this.
This will allow one of the McLarens to get, and it looks like he has ran into that wall.
That wretched wall is really big.
He didn't run into the wall. This is in sector 1, so he completely bended going into turn 4, I believe, if that's what that turn is.
Wow, Sniper Pig's line right there is absolutely beautiful. There's going to be a new rubber line laid down there for sure.
So I don't even think that he could probably get the fastest lap of the race now, because it's going to take so much time away from him trying to at least get a fast lap.
See, Space Hero just went right by it, like right through it, and didn't even get affected by it. So there's only a couple of drivers in the lobby that are getting affected.
And
some drivers just have a better carbon fiber chassis, I guess.
And Sniper Pig still gets the fastest lap of the race. That really shows you how slow-paced everybody's been in this race.
Oh yeah. He is also on a very fresh compound of soft tires, and he is closing in on Snipper, who is, he is closing in on Miami, who is closing in on Dilsack, so we'll see what can happen.
Sniper Pig is taking out around 4.5 seconds of that 10-second gap to Miami.
Looks like Dollar is also struggling. Dollar stopped completely at the invisible barrier. He is stuck in the middle of the track. So Dilsack might be able to get a run over here. Oh, he is completely stuck.
What in the world
some
is
engine
this?
issues. Must be some engine issues, surely. So here comes Dilsack. An amazing overtake. I mean, that was an incredible overtake.
I think he got out. Now he's waiting for all these drivers to go right through the invisible wall that had him trapped. And now he's back on his way.
Right in front of Pig. Comes out right in front of Pig. And Pig is able to pass him.
Throughout all of that, Miami has also gained a little bit on Snipper Pig. So he's going to be really happy about that, considering we're already on lap 28 of 31. So Snipper's going to really need to push it here.
But at the same time, with him having Dahl coming out right in front, it kind of slowed him down a bit to where he...
So now Dahl will be coming into the pit lane once again to get another new wing. And this will demote him probably... Well, no, it won't, because Green Bean is really far behind.
Right now, if you look at the point standings, as it stands right now, it looks like Pig, who had a 22-point lead on me, and as it stands right now, he's only going to build that gap to 29 points, which is still doable, and there is the report that he is going to miss the Mexican GP.
Oh no.
So he was in first, he was pretty much locked in for a win and could have built huge, but
Snipper Pig now within 4 seconds of Miami.
And Miami takes a very slow turn out from the tunnel as well.
I love watching the drivers that can't see the bugged wall and they just drive right through it.
Oh, another whack! I can't tell if they're actually taking damage or not. It looks like it.
Yep.
Definitely Miami.
It didn't hit Miami at all. I didn't see him hit, but we'll have to see.
It looks like Sniper Pig still got pace, so I don't think his front wing got broken or anything. No, it didn't. So these drivers just phasing right through the invisible wall, but on our screens it's very interesting.
Right now, Sniper Pig is only 2.5 seconds away from Miami for that P6 spot.
What a race.
Huge difference.
After this race, round 16 may now be labeled the Singa barrier. You really never know.
Hopefully we don't run into this at Russia or Japan or any of the remaining races.
We shouldn't. I mean, none of those tracks, apart from Russia, have any barriers that would do that.
Snipper Pig, with 2 laps remaining, is within 2 seconds now, getting close to DRS eligibility with a couple laps remaining.
So we have 11 runners in this GP. To beat the record of 10 runners remaining set at Spa, we're going to need 2 more retirements here.
It was 9. It was actually 9.
Oh, it was 9? So we need 3 more retirements.
Finish, thanks to Hefty.
Wow, Snipper is basically turning the corner after the straight into a hairpin thanks to the barrier. That is very unfortunate for us.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Hefty got a point while retired.
Woohoo!
As Sinister is watching now, and that's a pretty funny comment right there, Sinister.
Whoa, Snipper! Snipper just spun out while catching up to Miami. Wow, so it looks like there goes his chances of gathering any other points today.
Let's see if he decides to pit going into the final lap, or if he just stays out and trumbles around until the finish. He's 40 seconds ahead of Dollar behind him, so there's not a very big gap there.
Dollar looks like he's dealing with some damage as well. He's very ginger through some corners, taking them super gingerly, and he bumped the wall.
He's just trying to avoid those invisible barriers, bud.
I don't blame him.
He doesn't want to get caught.
Singa barrier.
Honos is going down the straight.
Nice, entertaining race, but all for the wrong reasons here today. We definitely found a few game glitches, that's for sure.
Barring some catastrophic failure from Honos, looks like he should be heading home with a race win today.
Let's see if this invisible barrier up in this, after this next straight, is going to get him, or if he's going to be able to come across the line and win his first race in the UDL.
This is the most important corner of the race right here.
Literally.
Final lap. Right-hander, let's see how tight he takes it. He goes right through it.
I guess it doesn't affect him, to be honest. If he's going right through it, I guess it's not there for him.
Space Hero also goes right through it. See if Bossman goes right through it, or if he gets stuck in it. But Honos coming around the final few chicanes now, coming out of the bridge, going through the right-left before the final corner. Honos for Renault will take the, well, I'm not going to say it yet, will take the win here in Singapore for Renault. Real Space Hero coming around the final corner now and across the line will take P2 for Red Bull, and Bossman, he's still got a bit to go, so, but right now he's in P3, and unless something catastrophic happens, he will stay in P3 for Renault, and that will be a 1-3 for Renault. Really great points for them in the Constructors' Championship. So now it'll be a nice long wait before the next driver comes across, as Bossman has a 5-second time penalty, but I don't really think it's going to matter.
No, because Fiji is 19 seconds away, so it's not going to have any big effect on him at all.
So Fiji will come across the line P4. Eat That Green Bean will finish P9, a lap down. Dulsac coming through the chicane complex now up towards the bridge. And then Miami close behind him, only 3 seconds behind, so we won't have to wait too long for him, which is always a plus.
Can the last hold it together through the last corner?
And Sniper Pig was able to avoid the invisible wall again.
And
Now
Dulsac
that
comes across the line
deserves a
P5, Miami P6, and Sniper Pig, the last car on track. He cannot gain or lose positions at this point. So he is in P7 and he will be P7. He could even retire if he wanted to. Sniper Pig comes around the final corner and will finish in P7 with half of a front wing. And that was your UDL F1 League Singapore GP.
And the driver of the day, the barrier.
Jesus. Alright, boys. Well, that was fun. Very interesting race. For sure. But it's not taking anything away from the winner, This man right here, Honos, in Renault. In that Renault car, it's a fill-in driver for Sinister Owl. And then P3 was also the other Renault of Bossman, so a great showing for them, as well as the Red Bull driver of Space. So, to recap the top 10 finishers here, might as well do the all 11 finishers at this point. Honos comes across the line, P1 for Renault, gets this win and all 25 points for Renault. Real Space Hero P2 in that Red Bull. Bossman P3 and for Renault as well. Fiji with the career best P4 from P20 on the grid. Bossman also from P19 on the grid. Definitely some driver of the day looks for them. Dulsac in P5, Miami P6, Sniper Pig P7, Dollar High P8, Green Beam P9, and Get That Money and Run rounds it out to P10 and gets the final points paying position. For the only other driver finishing the race, Imran Thunder in P11 for McLaren. Everybody else, they didn't finish. Thank you everybody for tuning in for this wonderful Singapore GP. My name has been Mr. Damage, and I will see you guys next week.